أعزائي المشاهدين، سلام من الله عليكم وأهلا ومرحبا بكم في حلقة جديدة من برنامج الشريعة والحياة. موضوعنا لهذه الليلة سيكون حول التنصير في القارة السوداء في إفريقيا. فبعد أن كان الإسلام دين الغالبية والغالبية العظمى في تلك القارة، أصبح الآن لا يزيد عدد المسلمين فيها عن الثلث. هذا طبعا وضعين في الاعتبار أن جزءا كبيرا منهم هم من العرب المسلمين. بلا شك كان لحملات التبشير والتنصير دور كبير في هذه النقلة النوعية في الوضع الديموغرافي للمسلمين في القارة. لمناقشة هذا الموضوع يسعدني أن أستضيف اليوم رجلا خبيرا في موضوع التبشير والتنصير في إفريقيا، وإن كان تركيزه على التنصير في المقام الأول، الشيخ أحمد القطعاني، مدير منارة الصحابة للعلوم الشرعية في ليبيا، وهو معهد متخصص في تخريج الأئمة والدعاة. شيخ أحمد، أهلا بك في الشريعة والحياة.
مرحبا. حقيقة هذه الكلمة أقل بكثير مما يجب، وكما قلنا في أول كلام من حق كل أحد أن يدعو لدينه وهو ما يسمى التبشير. أما التنصير فليس من حق أحد أن يخرج المسلمين عن دينهم، وحضرتك تطلب الشواهد، والشواهد تخرج عن الحصر. الإسلام كان يشكل كما أسلفتم دين أفريقيا الأساسي، وهناك 30 لغة إفريقية كانت تكتب بالخط العربي. انخفض عدد المسلمين في أفريقيا إلى 316 مليون. 316 مليون هذه نصفها من العرب في الشمال الأفريقي. إذن أفريقيا التي نتحدث عنها وهي غير العربية عدد المسلمين فيها الآن لا يتجاوز 150 مليون نسمة. وإذا ما علمنا أن تعداد أفريقيا مليار نسمة، رأينا أنها نسبة أقل بكثير عما كانت عليه في أوائل هذا القرن. بالمقابل ارتفع عدد الكاثوليك من 1 مليون في عام 1902 إلى 329 مليون و882 ألف، ولنقرب الرقم سنقول 330 مليون نسمة في عام 2000 الآن. أما كيف حدث ذلك؟ ففي أفريقيا الآن 1.5 مليون كنيسة. عدد أعضاء هذه الكنائس 46 مليون نسمة. في كل ساعة يتحول إلى النصرانية 667 مسلم. في كل يوم 16 ألف. في كل عام 6 مليون. هذه الأعداد الضخمة الكبيرة جدا.
لا بس اسمح لي للإيضاح، يعني نعم. الذين 6 مليون يتحولون من الإسلام إلى النصرانية سنوية. ولا من الإسلام والأديان الأخرى؟
عظيم. الأديان الأخرى ليست موضوعة على لائحة التنصير، وإنما موضوعة على لائحة التبشير. والأديان الأخرى في أفريقيا هي الوثنية. لا يوجد في أفريقيا إلا الإسلام أو المسيحية أو الوثنية. لا يوجد كما يوجد في آسيا مثلا البوذية، زرتشتية، لا يوجد. في أفريقيا هذه الثلاث. وإذا ما تحدثنا عن التنصير فلا وجود لأي دين آخر سماوي إلا الإسلام. أما الأخرى فهي وثنية، يعبدون الحيوانات والكواكب وما شابه.
إذا 6 مليون مسلم في العام.
في كل عام. في الدول الأفريقية خلال هذا القرن.
It's probably the only place in the world where they're coming so quickly. Many people are having dreams. They see Jesus appear to them. Probably half our pastors were leaders, imams in Muslim in mosques. They were leaders in these mosques. Now they're pastors.
This fellow that I met, it's been less than a year ago, Nathan, in North Africa. I feel like his story kind of pictures what North Africa is like. He was a teenager. Through satellite television, he heard the gospel. This very common thing. It's really amazing, super important. He came to faith as a teenager, and when his family found out, his dad went unhinged and started beating him, locked him away in Nathan's bedroom. And I think Nathan's mom figured out that the dad was going to kill him. And so she helped him escape, got him out, like literally through the window. And Nathan, I mean, he's just a teenager. I have a teenage boy. He started living on the street, eating out trash cans. This went on for weeks. And pretty soon he found himself in a refrigerator box living out on the beach, which is not nice, super cold, some other homeless people living out there. While out there, it was like several nights in, he heard somebody shout his name, shout out Nathan out on the beach, middle of the night, heard it again. Hey, is there a Nathan here? Nathan got up and was like, yeah, I'm here. The fellow directed him to his car. Nathan was like, well, I guess I'll go get in this car. Found out that it was a British missionary that had some rough Arabic, was still learning Arabic, and had gotten a word from God that he needed to go out to the beach and pick up Nathan. The British missionary had no idea what was going on with this, but obeyed, went out there, scared, nervous, picked up someone named Nathan at the beach, took him home, and started taking care of him. Nathan slept on the guy's couch for weeks.
Wow.
The guy started discipling him, taking care of him. Nathan now goes out to isolated villages in North Africa to help Christians that are out by themselves. We all have those, but it's just so striking to see those, and they happen at dark times in your life. Nathan was on the edge, out on the beach. I mean, he was holding his faith. He didn't recant and go back home, but I'm sure there was the God, why have you forsaken me feeling. And when it got really dark, God showed up and took care of him.
Is there a Nathan here?
Is there a Nathan here? It's so amazing.
These images of North Africans worshipping have never been seen before on television. As the sun sets over the Mediterranean Sea, Muslims across this part of Africa are converting to faith in Jesus Christ in record numbers.
What God is doing in North Africa, all the way from actually Mauritania to Libya, is unprecedented in history of missions.
Tino Kahush, a graduate of Regent University, has spent years traveling the region to document the transformation.
I have the privilege of recording testimonies and listening to first-hand stories of men and women, all ages, where they can be sitting in a room and see the appearance, the presence of God appear to them in reality. It's like a vision. Some of them gave me stories of they carry a conversation. It's not just a light that appears.
His interviews confirm what experts say is a profound move of God in the predominantly Muslim nations of Mauritania, Western Sahara, Morocco, Algeria, Libya, and Tunisia.
Sometimes I feel jealous. How come it's visiting the Muslim world at this time and age where we don't hear that happening in the traditional Christian community?
From the shores of Casablanca in Morocco to Tripoli, Libya, experts say the growth of Christianity, especially in the last 20 years, has been unprecedented. And nowhere is that growth more evident than in the North African nation of Algeria.
In fact, we never thought the Algerian church would grow so big.
Pastor Salah leads one of the largest churches in Algeria, where 99% of the population is Muslim. He says every new Christian in his church came from a Muslim background. Some 1,200 believers attend the church.
In fact, since we started as a church until today, we've baptized on average 150 to 160 believers per year.
Men like Zino, who was invited to attend Pastor Salah's church by a friend.
I saw Algerians worshiping God with all their hearts, and it touched me.
Others like Farhat speak of miraculous encounters. He says he was illiterate and couldn't read the Bible when he accepted the Lord. Then God made a change.
Since then, I've read the Bible and understood the Word of God. This is just an example of what God has done in my life, and this is the case of many, many people here in Algeria.
Even though Algeria is overwhelmingly Muslim, the government has given Protestant churches the freedom to register their congregations.
It is the first Muslim Arab government who recognized officially churches from Islam.
Yusuf Kurahmani is a leading Algerian pastor. He says the government will harass and intimidate Christians from time to time, but the level of persecution is nothing like it was 20 years ago.
God has given to us many opportunities to witness at the police stations, at the courts. And actually, once I went to the police station and they gave me 45 minutes to speak about Jesus. Just imagine yourself, they are all Muslims. Well, tell us about Jesus, please.
But Algeria and the countries of North Africa weren't always open to the gospel. Peter is a veteran missionary in these parts.
You know, there's that parable, the sower went out to sow and the seed fell on stony ground. This is North Africa. In those days was quite resistant and stony.
For security reasons, we've altered his voice and concealed his identity.
The religion and the culture were unsympathetic to anything that was foreign, and Christianity was considered to be the religion of the Europeans.
Peter believes the arrival of satellite TV and the internet have dramatically changed people's perception of Christianity.
Today in North Africa on TV you can hear native Arab Christians talking about their faith, who are mature Christians, answering questions, involved in debates.
Emboldened by God's power, Algerian Christians are now on a mission to take the gospel to the four corners of the globe.
God has put in our heart to be able to send 1,000 missionaries by the year 2025. And I really believe maybe one day America will end up with some Muslim converts, missionaries coming to reach out to the Muslims there and other parts as well.
And his father, Suleiman, spent time praying and studying the Bible together. Some might call that a miracle, since the two did not speak for nearly 20 years. In fact, Suleiman's father once tried to kill him. Why? Because at the age of 16, Abdu decided to leave Islam and follow Jesus. The young man's journey of faith began with an unexpected visit.
I was sleeping and Jesus woke me up, and it was like a dream or revelation.
Abdu gave his life to Christ after reading from a borrowed Bible. His decision made his family angry because in their Muslim community, leaving Islam brings disgrace.
We didn't know what kind of belief he brought. We were fundamentalist Muslims and very upset. That is why we were against him. Our neighbors also told us he brought a foreign religion here, which is not good. And they said attack him and don't accept him.
His mother, Samira, was also very upset when she learned her son became a Christian.
I had deep, deep sorrow in my heart because I thought I had lost my boy. I thought we can't even be buried together when our days are over. It was a big sorrow at that time.
Village leaders tried to intimidate Abdu by ordering a gang of young men to attack him.
As I was walking to school, they met me on the road, and they beat me very badly with a rope and made me suffer. They asked me if this was my final decision. If I continued to be a Christian, they said they would take the full measure and would kill me.
Still, Abdu refused to renounce Jesus, and his father became so angry, he tried to take his life.
We chased him out from our home because we didn't want to be against our neighbors. He brought different things here, so we chased him out and he went to another village.
During his years in exile from his family, Abdu worked at a church as a security guard and grew stronger in his faith. He read more than 100 Christian books and began discipling other former Muslims who had come to Jesus. But Abdu's mother missed him terribly, and after many years of separation, she slipped away to visit her son.
During the 6 years, I had heard that he wasn't drinking alcohol and doing bad things. But the boys who were his friends here were doing those things, so I decided to see him secretly.
Impressed by the changes in her son's life, Samira began to consider Christ. However, it took 10 years before she too would leave Islam to follow Jesus.
I believe that the faith of my son was true and correct, but now I have a big problem with my husband. But I decided to follow Jesus and try to bring my husband to Christ.
We showed big love to him and big changes in our character. This influenced him.
About a year later, Suleiman's heart softened under the influence of God's big love. Now he and the rest of his family, about 40 of them, are all Christians. This hut on the family property is now a place of worship to the Lord and for hearing the gospel.
I'm very happy that my family has come to Jesus. But the biggest thing that makes me excited is that near the home where I grew up is a place being used as a church. People are coming and praying and giving their lives to Christ.
As for Suleiman, while he and his family are persecuted for their faith, he says he's not about to return to Islam, and he looks forward to eternity with the Lord.
The fundamentalists can do the worst they can to us. The last option for them is to kill us. We don't mind if they kill us, because some believers will bury us. For us, it's better with Christ than to live in the community without Christ. We don't fear. These days for us are not a threat.